So ever since my initial video on the discovery of this image of a Sunbreaker Titan right here, there have been plenty of people giving me feedback on other reasons as to why this guy could be on fire, and trying to disprove the idea that this is a Sunbreaker. But today I'm going to be acknowledging all those different arguments, proving why they are wrong, and confirming that this is a Sunbreaker Titan. What is up, guys? Welcome back to another Destiny video. Today we're going to be talking a little bit more about this image on screen right here of what is believed to be a Sunbreaker Titan. Now, if you haven't seen this image before, or if you're confused as to how I found this, I will leave a link to my initial video in the description, and I just go into great detail of how I found this image in an official Bungie video. Since that video, that whole concept of a Sunbreaker in Destiny 2 kind of really got out there, there have been plenty of people who looked at this picture and said, well, that's not a Sunbreaker, that's something else. Like I said in the intro, there are plenty of people who just said things like, well, that Titan just got hit by this gun and that's why he's on fire, it's not a Sunbreaker. But I've already thought of just about all those reasons and kind of figured out why they don't work, so today we're going to have just a kind of non-biased conversation and just acknowledging all the arguments people have against it not being a Sunbreaker, and then acknowledging the reasons of why it could be a Sunbreaker. Then we're going to determine what this image is in the end. Without further ado, let's get into this. So, real quick, I'm just going to kind of format this video in the order of like reasons that are easiest to explain compared to the reasons that aren't that easy to explain very last. So I'm going to start with just the really easy things to talk about first, and then as we move on, it's going to get a little more complex. So the first thing that we're just going to get out of the way is that this Guardian is a Titan. There's still people who somehow think that this isn't a Titan. I've seen people commenting and saying, oh, well, sorry to burst your bubble, but that's not a Titan. That's just a Warlock casting Dawnblade. I didn't think that this had to be brought up, but I guess we're going to talk about it anyway. Just real quick, it's a Titan. You can tell by the shoulder pads. The two huge shoulder pads, just like the Titan that we've seen before. Also the Titan mark, that's not a Warlock mark, that's not a Hunter cloak. That is a Titan's mark. I believe it is the exact same one that we got in the beta too. And you can just tell by his back piece. It's just a really bulky guy with lots of armor, and I'm going to put an emphasis on the mark on his back and then his shoulder pads. So now that I got that out of the way, we're going to talk about something that a lot more people have been saying, and that is that the Titan was hit by a firebolt grenade, and that's why he's on fire. Now, that's super good thinking, and that's a reasonable explanation. And I've also seen plenty of other bigger YouTubers talking about that as well. So I went into the Crucible as a Dawnblade in Destiny 2, and I hit someone who was AFK with a firebolt. I just wanted to get a good hit where I could see what happened, and as you can see in slow motion, it's hardly ever, like it doesn't really light him on fire that much. It does a little bit, and when he does have that fire effect on him, you can also see the bolt, you can also see the grenade still, which we cannot see with the picture of the Titan. So I don't think that any kind of grenade was involved when it comes to setting this Titan on fire, but it was a really good idea. There's just no grenade in the image, and even with the firebolt grenade, it doesn't really set you on fire and give you that animation without you still seeing the grenade in the picture and the firebolt shooting at the Guardian. So it was a good idea, but no kind of grenade was involved that we know of yet. So now for the final two really good arguments of what set this Titan on fire, the Sunshot hand cannon and the golden gun. We're going to start with the golden gun. Basically, the simple explanation of the golden gun is that it was a good idea at first, but when you really look at the gameplay of getting shot with a golden gun, it just doesn't work out. You explode, you're not even really on fire, and when there is fire, you can see fire on the ground, but at that point you don't even know what was shot. So the golden gun is a one-hit kill unless the enemy is in a super, and you can tell that this Titan is totally standing upright, he is alive, and it's not, he's not exploding. He wasn't hit by a golden gun, and even if he were, even if the explosion had already passed, the only flames that you really see are ashes coming out of the Guardian that was shot. So when we look at this gameplay, we come to the conclusion that this Titan could not have been hit by a golden gun in Destiny 2. So at this point, the Sunshot hand cannon is the best argument when it comes to why this Titan could be on fire if you don't think that it's a Sunbreaker. And it's really good because it does light people on fire because of its exotic perks. So the only evidence I have against the Sunshot at this point is that it just looks like a different kind of fire. I've noticed that the supers, they just have their own kind of animation, I guess, and I really noticed this when a Warlock cast Dawnblade right in my face, and like, it just has this different look to it, whereas this that I'm showing on screen, you know, I got lots of these clips where I was shooting a guy, he's right in front of me. It just looked like it turned the guy orange. You know, it didn't look like the same kind of fire that we see in this clip, the same kind of fire that we see this golden gun using, and certainly not the same kind of fire that we see the Dawnblade using. So really, to counter this argument, I would just say compare the two. You know, on the Titan on your left, you see that he has a fire surrounding him identical to the other solar supers like the golden gun and the Dawnblade. And with the Titan on the right, he's just kind of orange. So now that we've got that out of the way and we've talked about all the different arguments that people have as to why this guy isn't a Sunbreaker, now we're going to talk about all the different reasons as to why this guy is a Sunbreaker, or at least the third subclass for the Titan. Now I'm going to start up front with just the biggest reason I have, and it's pretty good evidence. That is the Titan's position. He's not holding a gun, he's not just running. He has his right arm up, his left arm kind of out like that, just like the Sunbreaker in Destiny 1 throws his hammers. Like I did in my original video, here's a side by side where you can see it just matches. So even if the Sunshot did hit him, where's his weapon and why is he in that position like that? That's my argument against just about everything, is even if he did get set on fire by something else, whatever the reason is, why is he like that? Why is he like that? He looks fine. He doesn't look like he got shot away. He's engaging that hunter up there. You can see, like, I don't know, someone could come up with the argument that he was shot, so he's going down, and that's why his arms are like that. But his feet, you look at his feet, he's running up. He's fine. He wasn't shot. So he's on fire, and even if he was just burning from something that hit him a while ago, why is he in that position? That is the biggest argument that I have, along with just where is his gun? He doesn't have one. Then there are also reasons for it being a Sunbreaker, like you can kind of see the trail that his hand is leaving, his right arm as he's swinging it. Somebody pointed that out in my original video, but it just looks like it's kind of leaving a trail of sparks, and if that isn't his hand swinging, then what is it? Like, we don't know what that is. So it just kind of is another hint towards a Sunbreaker. So those are my biggest reasons towards it being a Sunbreaker Titan. Is the fire is exactly like every other solar super in the game. It's like nothing else. His position is exactly 100% like Sunbreaker does in Destiny 1. And then he doesn't have a gun. If he had a gun, that'd be one thing, but he doesn't. And not to mention the sparks we just talked about coming from his hand, kind of leaving a trail. Now, one could say, well, one problem, where's the hammer? It doesn't look like a Sunbreaker because he's not holding a hammer. Well, kind of. You can see in Destiny 1, they're also, just with the images I was comparing, every single time you throw a hammer, there is a single frame when the hammer isn't there. Like, it's in your hand, then for one frame, or at least when I was looking at it, you couldn't see the hammer. Then the next frame, it was in the air being propelled towards your enemy. So while this could totally just be a third subclass, it doesn't have to be a Sunbreaker, there is your answer to the whole where is his hammer question. So I think that's it. I feel like I've addressed just about all of the different arguments as to why this guy wouldn't be a Sunbreaker Titan, and provided evidence as to why those just don't work. I also feel like I gave really good reasons as to why this guy is a Sunbreaker Titan, provided really good evidence, and I gotta say, like, after I've stared at this image for like an hour while I edited this video, I'm 100% sure it has to be a Sunbreaker Titan. It just couldn't be anything else. And I also feel like it'd be good to note that I wasn't super excited. I didn't care for third subclasses returning in Destiny 2 before I saw this. I was just fine with 6 subclasses. But once I saw this, like just after all this, I am 100% positive that third subclasses will be returning in Destiny 2. So I hope that you're convinced. Make sure to let me know, what do you think? I know I am convinced for myself. Make sure to let me know what you think in the comments. Let me know how I did. And I don't even know if this video was any good. I just kind of wanted to format my thoughts because I've thought about this for a long time and I know that this is a Sunbreaker Titan. So let me know what you thought. Make sure to leave a like on the video if you enjoyed it so more people can see this and realize that third subclasses will be returning in Destiny 2. And thank you for your time. As always, my name is Hackman and I will see you in the next video.